The world is full of places just waiting to be explored. From high mountains to open beaches, these places are out there. They don't have to be at inaccessible locations on the other side of the planet. You don't even have to be the first person to set foot there. The important thing is that you make the journey, that you get to see these places for yourself. And the simplest way to explore is just to put one foot in front of the other.
Well, I run because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good about my life and about everything else I do. It adds value to my life and to my relationships.
So I run because you get to go to incredible places, from the Transkei coastline to incredible forests and mountains, just places that you don't get to see driving in a car or often even riding on a bike.
So I run because it's easy, it's an escape, it's a great workout, it's a great way to meet people, it's a great socializing. You get to go places and see places that a lot of people don't see.
Anyone can just step outside and just start to run. You know, you don't need any sports equipment. So literally everyone can just step outside and just express themselves and run where they want to go. In our country, it's just, we've got such amazing routes, and anyone can just, doesn't matter what level you are, you can just get outside and go.
Every year, 80 runners make the journey to Carmouth to take on a spectacular wilderness journey, all the way to Hole in the Wall, 112 kilometers to the north.
The Wildcoast Wildrun is a 3-day trail running event along the wild coast of South Africa. And it's really an event for people who are looking for a slice of adventure, a journey along a most beautiful coastline, and really just, yeah, an experience in itself, an emotional and a physical journey.
For me, the Wild Coast is a virgin, untouched part of South Africa, which I'd like to see remain that way. It's almost timeless. You can see beach cottages and little bays and beaches that are unspoilt, and you hope that they'll remain like that forever.
The mix between the coast, so you've got the cool breeze and the stunning views of the sea, and the inland beauty of running through hills and mountains and cattle paths and tracks. The complete combination in one package is what I've loved about the Transkei.
Yeah, this is the most amazing stretch of coastline that I can imagine exists in the world. These are vast distances, but you want to go further because there's always something more to see. And I think it almost helps people through because it's just so incredibly beautiful and compelling to want to explore.
Where do you come from? You got class and poison, you know what you want. It's such a...
The Wild Coast is not just about the endless beaches. It's not just about the trails, the rocks, or the hills. It's about all of these things combined. Without doubt, the Wild Coast has a soul that is as tangible as the sand itself. And at the center of her soul is freedom.
Dancing in a storm. I come rushing in to take you under and drown you in my arms. Yeah, I surrender to your beating heart.
If you can walk, you can run. And if you can move forward, you can explore. And if you are exploring, then you are living.
I think this is the most special event I've ever been to, and it is the most untouched part of the coastline that I've ever seen in our country. And I think what's so special about it is that there's no set route.
Yeah, here at the Wildrun, there's no definite route you have to take. It's a free as you want to go route. You can run your type of run, so it allows you that freedom to go wherever you want to go.
Being able to follow cattle tracks and human paths over different levels, different altitudes, take the high road or the medium road or the low road, and just being able to look at this incredible, spectacular coast from different angles and different altitudes is really spectacular and an honest privilege to be able to be there.
It just keeps you motivated and keeps you going, because you just constantly want to see what's around the next headland or what's over the next path, and it just keeps you going because it's just so exquisite.
You get a variety here of beach, the felt just off the beach. Sometimes it's like your backyard, like a lawn. It keeps you fresh all the time, having to deal with different terrain and different challenges. It's utopia for running.
One of the features to the Wildrun is the river crossings, and being fairly short, I know it can be a bit of a challenge. So yeah, today, for example, I thought I'd taken a good route and quickly found myself up to my shoulders. But yeah, all part of the challenge, all part of the fun, and I know we've got a few more coming up, but yeah, all part of the fun.
Crossing the Koffenwaber this morning, I had one of the biggest adrenaline rushes in my life, because the river was flowing so fast out to sea that at one point, the point that you get in, and even if you aim to go across the river in a straight line, we ended up getting out the river easily 70 meters downstream, which was 70 meters closer to the sea.
Running can mean many things to different people. Some enjoy the opportunity to compete against other elite athletes. Some are looking to stretch themselves, to shift their own humble boundaries. And some come simply to be close to nature. And while some like the solitude of open beaches, others crave the unpredictable step of a natural cattle trail. The Wildcoast Wildrun is a race for all types.
That is also one of the beauties of this event, is that it doesn't matter your level of fitness, your shape or form, whatever runner you are, how serious you are, or if it's just for recreational reasons. This event, there's no time limit, so literally absolutely everyone can do it. And there is the competitive side of things, and so there is the racing aspect to it, but then there's a real great sort of social vibe to it as well. And you can really just take your time and spend the whole day out in the path. So I think it's really targeting all runners. Which is absolutely fantastic for one single event.
The variety of people is quite surprising. When you meet those first people on that first night, first of all, I was quite surprised there's quite a lot of road runners, but the fact that we're all from such different parts of the country and even different walks of life.
Everyone's kind of nervous, and you're in your kind of groups and kind of sticking together, but very quickly things open up and you get to meet new people, sharing experiences along the way and forming kind of loose bonds, and the camaraderie which goes of, all the suffering and pain and blisters that you encounter along the way together. By the end of it, you're all tight mates, and you're able to reflect on the most awesome 4 days you spent running trails along the Wild Coast.
The 3 days of running takes these athletes across kilometers of deserted white beaches, over rolling grassland hills, and in between spectacular rock formations. But while the interaction with nature is at the heart of this event, runners are afforded all the home comforts at the end of a long day.
One of the main things about the whole event, and for us what's very important, is that the runners are comfortable and they're having an awesome experience as well as the runnings. Every day the bags are taken from the start point to the finish, so they get to pick up their bag. They're not camping, you're going into a hotel, you're getting a nice comfortable room, a nice hot shower every night. The food is delicious and plenty of it. Also every day there's a bar at the finish and you can have a massage and then just relax for the rest of the day.
There's nothing better than arriving after a long day in the sun to a beautiful room overlooking the sea, knowing that you've got a hot, delicious meal waiting for you, your bag's ready waiting, friendly people, all the home comforts that you can so look forward to after the long run.
The absolute beauty of the wild run is that it started off small, and they realized the success in the race was the uniqueness of it being small, and they decided that's what makes it special, and the fact that the guys have kept to a small group is absolutely awesome.
This has probably been the most amazing event I've ever done because of the size of it, and because you know that everybody who's doing it absolutely wants to be here and they're desperate to get to this.
Yeah, it's really about being personal for us. We want to be able to give guys not just a run on the coast. We want to give them a whole experience that they can just say there was nothing that they would change.
Running is more important to us than most people believe. Before cars, planes and ships, even before man first climbed up onto a horse, we were reliant on our own 2 feet for exploration and for survival. This connection may have been lost over the last few thousand years, but there are still those who remember this heritage. Those that understand that Homo sapiens are fundamentally designed to run.
We're the best endurance athletes in the animal kingdom for a number of reasons, and the one is that we walk upright, and so we've got very long tendons that allow our muscles when we land to store energy and then release it like springs, and so this makes us exceptionally efficient over long distances. And then the other thing that we've got that defines us is our ability to lose heat, because obviously people who are running in this race, they're doing 4 or 5 hours a day in quite hot conditions, but humans can sweat, and we're one of the only animals that can do that. Humans could literally outrun bigger animals because we just kept going and going and going. And so those 2 things together gave us the ability to hunt and therefore to survive. So we were born, or we were created in order to run. And in order to survive, we had to run. So that was really the essence of it. And that's why people who watch runners doing this and they say, this is crazy to do 112 Ks in 3 days. It's actually crazy not to run, because that's what we were born to do.
Because of the way we choose to live, our thoughts, dreams, and aspirations often get lost before they are ever seen. Often we lose our direction, and our thoughts get cloudy as we rattle around in a world that is slowly preventing us from seeing what is really there.
Trail running in places like this, where you're so immersed in everything that is essentially life, and the cultural and the nature and all of those things wrap up into such a holistic feeling, and emotionally and physically. It feels it's in harmony, everything's in harmony. So the balance of that harmony and you being able to run and express this physical part, and the link between the two is incredibly special. And I think that's where the emotional aspect of being able to run in nature, and that's the essence for me for trail running. It feels so calming and so right in so many ways.
We're finding tidying and foresting for things we'll make our lives full. But faithful pressure gives us anything but the right to go. And if we travel to another place, we'll be speechless. Our minds will float and bodies illuminate while the angels fill the air.
Running's always been my favorite sport. I've always enjoyed the simplicity thereof and that free feeling. There's no better feeling than being in a state where you can just run effortlessly. You know your body is in great shape.
I think this event is really targets a huge range of an audience, and that's what we're trying to do with our products at Adidas. So our running range is not only for the serious runner, it's for the entry-level recreational runner, someone just training for their sport. We're trying to provide product for absolutely every single runner. Along the Wild Coast, I mean, the trail, the different terrain is absolutely diverse. So you've got some beach sand, you've got hills, you've got thick long grass, and you've got flat trails. It's really so diverse, and that's fantastic for us to test every single aspect of the footwear and our technologies. And it's great to get the feedback as well, where we can improve on what. We've just formed a partnership with Continental Rubber, and it's been hugely successful. The feedback we've received from the runners has been absolutely outstanding. So it's proven that there is 36% increased grip on wet conditions, dry conditions, and on incline. And it's been absolutely amazing. So on our Adistar and Supernova trail shoes, as well as branching into our road range as well, we've got some Continental grip on the outsoles.
And for the first time this year, as one of our new sponsors, Continental Tires South Africa, Continental SA have provided all our crew vehicles with tyres, Continental Tires, cross contacts and world contacts. We've had no punctures this year for the first time since we started, and it really makes a difference. The right equipment's for the right job, and we are blown away by their performance, and it's a real asset to have such good equipment on our vehicles, and make sure that we keep the ops and the logistics running in the background as the runners are progressing along the Wild Coast. Back with us again this year is NCC Environmental Services, South Africa's leading environmental consultancy. Dean Ferreira heads up their operation. He's been with us since the very beginning, and it's fantastic to have him back on board. Their relationship with the Wild Coast is very strong, and their interest very much in the sustainability of this area going forward.
Well, the Eastern Cape is the adventure province because of the incredible resources we have, and particularly in the Wild Coast. And we've seen over the last couple of years a move away from just more the conservative kind of tourism, more towards adventure tourism. People want to explore, people want to be active, they want to explore the natural resources, and that's where the Wild Coast offers a unique opportunity for those that love adventure sports. It's pristine, it's really wild, and it's probably the best place you can run multi-day stage events in the country.
Sometimes we head to remote locations to explore the horizons and end up looking straight past the people that live there. However, the inhabitants of the Wild Coast have an uncanny knack of drawing you in with a smile. Living humbly off the land, they want and expect nothing, but gratefully appreciate any generosity that is sent their way.
Being on the Wild Coast and being in such a well-balanced environment, it's not only that it's preserved and it feels like it's as it was, it's got the cultural aspect.
The Bob's for Good Foundation, hugely privileged to be part of an amazing event like the Wildcoast Wildrun. We're here again to deliver shoes to the kids of the Wild Coast and just put a few smiles on faces. And you're running past these very humble, unassuming locals that take the time to greet you and welcome you, and it's such a special place, and to be able to give something back to it is an honor and privilege. And just like we have got the privilege of running through sort of their countryside, it's nice to give back to it.
The local people here are just so friendly and yeah, just incredibly heartwarming and open their hearts to all of us. The little children just so enthusiastic, and yeah, and I guess we think that they're underprivileged in so many senses. But you look at where their houses are placed, and they're just in the most beautiful place.
I don't think that the locals know why all these runners are coming through, but they're there to support you anyway. So it's remarkable. It's something that I don't think many people will ever get to experience.
There are lessons to be learnt at the end of every journey. Whether it is a major milestone achieved or a simple step forward in the commitment to living an outdoor lifestyle, we always come out the other side a better person.
Emotional journey of the wild run, I think, is one of the least expected aspects of the wild run when people come on this journey. They obviously prepare themselves for the physical side of things. They train and they go out and they get themselves ready, prepare themselves for this journey. But what they don't expect is the emotional roller coaster of having that fitness and being in a place like this and being able to share it with 80 other like-minded people. So the whole emotional environment, it builds up and builds up. By day one, the first day is over and they kind of check the box, accomplish that bit. But something else is chipping away at the background and they're not entirely sure what it is. And then by day two, it starts to wear in and you start to see the sharing part of it starts to really click in. And by the third day, by the time they crest the rise and they see the finish of the hole in the wall and you're just in this most magnificent setting, you cannot get better. And you run down the slope and you've got time to just think about what you've come through in the last 3 days and the people you've met. And generally speaking, you'll have those people around you while you're running as well, because you end up forming these little groups and you're just on this high, you're floating on this high as you crest down this last sweeping single track to the finish line. And it's hardly like you really want to finish. There's something you've crested over, this physical part of things, and yes, you've accomplished something, but you've reached this another emotional part of yourself. And the two have just come together, and by the time you finish, it's just it's overwhelming. And it's overwhelming for a runner, and it's overwhelming for the crew. It's overwhelming as the whole event. And I think it's one of the aspects that makes the Wildcoast Wildrun so special in a sense, is that people prepare themselves for the physical, but they're completely unaware of the emotional aspect of it. And by the end of it, it's just absolutely mind-blowing.
It's an amazing experience, just to see everything along the coastline and to get to see it just with your own steam. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been the toughest yet most exhilarating journey of my life physically. You suffer through it, but it's all worth the pain at the end of the day when you see stuff like this. And you leave a few grams lighter because you leave a piece of your soul here at the end of the day.
And I must say, anything better than your first Wildcoast Wildrun is probably your second Wildcoast Wildrun. It's been awesome. Over 112 kilometers, you're bound to forget some things. So coming back for the second time around, it's been so awesome reliving some of the things I remember and also almost rediscovering some of the things I forgot.
This is what it's all about. And I can't wait to get down there and really soothe the muscles a bit. It's been a long 3 days, but well worth it. Certainly very tough, very rewarding, beautiful, scenic. Just an all-round fantastic experience.
Whew, toughest thing I've ever done.
No,
toughest, but the most beautiful by far. Absolutely incredible.
I'd recommend this to anybody.
Yep, that's all worth it.
Yeah.
That is all worth it.
It's great.
At the end of it all, a simple medal symbolizes the closure of a journey. For each person, it represents something unique, something important, something to hold on to.